What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Downtime with Downstar, episode 173, and today we are here with...
What's cracking, guys? How y'all doing? This is Christian Perez from Honda Vlogs, sitting here with Frank Downstar, live on Downtown with Downstar right here. Super excited, man. Thanks for having me on.
I love it, dude. I love it. So we just lost 6 minutes of content because for some reason the camera tweaked out, but we're recording now. We can't miss anything, dude. I'm excited for this podcast right here. So,
same.
So, Christian Perez, Honda Vlogs. Like I was saying in the footage that nobody's ever gonna see, is I became familiar with you from your YouTube show that you did. It was the Honda recap. It might have been early when you were even doing it, because it was a while ago when I seen it, and I seen what you were doing with the show, with the intro, the green screen, the in depth that you went into each video, breaking it down, and then as far as you like just freestyling it, you know, everything that you want to talk about, it seems like a freestyle, you know, and you're just so good at it, dude. And that's one of the coolest things that I've seen in the Honda community as of late. And that's one thing that really got me interested in you and your channel. And shoot, ever since then, for probably the last year and a half, 2 years, we've just been chopping it up, man. So I'm happy to have you here on the podcast.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate you reaching out. You know, I know we talked about it in the past, and then I don't know, when you hit me up, and we were just like, all right, well, it's now or never, you know. Not that it would never happen, but it was just kind of like, well, let's just do it, dude, you know, because it's like people can talk and we could talk about it forever, but I mean, it's just it's finding an hour and a half of your time to just be like, all right, let's just talk.
Hell yeah, man. And I know you're a good talker, so I'm looking forward to this, man. Give me a breakdown of your channel, and more importantly of the Honda recap, man. We're on episode 107 now. That's huge.
Yeah. So my channel's Honda Vlogs. Very generic name. I'm also very not creative as far as names. Like I used to play a lot of video games, and like I would literally get stuck at like naming the character. My friends are already questing, and I'm just like, well, this is set for life, dude. What am I gonna do? And so yeah, I went with Honda Vlogs, and then that started to just take over. And then I had a buddy, because like I always worked in tech. Yeah. So one of the designers was just like, he saw me. I used to skate to work. I had to take the train and stuff, but I'd skate through the city, and I always used to have like old vision boards. So they're always like hot pink and teal and purple, like just super like 80s retro. And so he made that logo, and then I was like, well, that solidifies it. You know what I mean? So that's how I got the name. I just was just like, well, I guess I'm going to roll with it. There's no, you're not going to misunderstand what you're getting here in any way. Right. And, so while I was working in the city, I was just like, I was watching a bunch of like vloggers and stuff on TV, or on YouTube rather. And then studio shut down, because that's just working at tech life. You know, the startup goes up, it goes down. And then at the time I was watching a lot of like Peter McKinnon and like Casey Neistat and all these guys, you know, John Hicks. And then I found Alfredo through John Hicks. Yeah. Like all these other guys. I'm like, dude, okay, this is easy. Well, not easy, but like I can get into this because I have cameras and stuff. So I started vlogging like my day going into the city, and I was just like, oh, I'm just going to do this. I work in tech. That's perfect. And then, you know, studio got laid off, and I'm at home, and I've always been into Hondas, always been into cars. So I had more time now because I was laid off, and I started working on my car. And so that's basically where my channel started, because I have a Del Sol. I have a bunch of projects. I have a problem with that. Like I literally, sometimes I look at project cars like stray animals. Like, oh, I don't want to see you just go to waste. Let me give you a good home. You know, like my girlfriend and my mom and my dad are just like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm just like, you know, they all have personalities. And especially if I meet the person and then they're like, oh, you know, I've had this for 10 years. I'm like, bro, I'm going to have it for another 10 then. Yeah. Come with me. But anyways, so I started working on my Del Sol, started doing a bunch of work on that, started filming it because I had time. Yeah. And because I was watching all these vloggers that were very like cinematic, I started creating videos like that, like a storyline. You know, I didn't want to just be right off the bat as a new person, just like with the camera in front of my face. That basically sometimes comes later because you're trying to fill time and also like trying to talk to an audience.
Yes.
So I tried to go like the story time. So like, you know, if you're gonna give me 10 minutes of your time, let me make it entertaining for you. But at that time, I was stuck on YouTube a lot, and I was watching a lot of these guys. You know, like John Widmer from Texas, Dana, Zosh, all these guys, and I keep up with all of them. And I basically joked to my buddy DJ, and I was just like, "Hey, wouldn't it be kind of funny if someone just like threw all these guys together and like just kind of talked about them? Because like I don't have a job right now, so like I have the ability to just sit there for like, well, I'm not gonna lie, like 3 or 4 hours, just like, well, I'm gonna fucking just watch some YouTube.
Yeah.
But like every day, just like the big guys, they'd have another video and have another video, and I'm just like, damn, dude, in a week, you could lose track of like what happened, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, all right, you know, that sounds kind of funny. Like, well, I'll try it. And I literally sat down in a little office area with like my camera and a GoPro, because like my camera's audio was shit, but the GoPro was decent at the time. So, and I just talked. And that was one of the times that I had a vertical monitor and I had like the person's name and a little bit about them. And I went. And like, as of today, I have 0 notes. I just talk.
Wow.
Which is so I literally will watch people's videos and like here's the secret sauce, but not really. Like I have people's videos and then on my phone I have a name and then like B16 swapped. And I was like, oh yeah, well I know that, you know, like Stephen Ocasio, you know, it was like building a B16, Stephen Ocasio hyphen B16 build.
Gotcha.
But I already got everything else in my head. So I go there, and what really made me have to like get my shit together was DSLR cameras only have a 30-minute recording time frame. Otherwise, they're a camcorder. Like I think technically you have a Sony camcorder.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I had a T3i or T4i, and it'll only record for 30 minutes before it's like, oh, you got to hit record again.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to get up to like hit record again. So I was like, Christian, you got to figure out how to like do the intro, monologue, get through everything concisely before that clicks.
Yeah.
So ever since then, I've just been able to like, I know what you guys are up to. Like, I know I follow along as best as I can. And I was just kind of like, all right, I think I can do this. And that's why free talking and freestyling became essential, because like I had a 30-minute time limit that I had to like stick to. And like literally it wasn't up till like 2 weeks ago that I learned that I can put an app on my A6300 that I have now that will change that from 30-minute to unlimited time.
But won't the camera overheat?
Yeah, but the latest update on the A6300, like I think they moved the temperature from like 135 degrees Fahrenheit to like 155. So you get a little bit more time. And shooting in 4K, my A6300 will shoot all the way up to a dead battery now, which is like a bit over 30 minutes, which is still like you're still in a time constraint, like 30 or 40 minutes, but it's better than your camera overheating. And then you're sitting there like, I hope it got that last clip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, all right, hopefully that worked. But yeah, so then I would come in and then I have to record the whole thing. And then I uploaded the first one. And at that time I had like 500 subs or something. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I was just like, well, I'm going to do it again. And then I did it again. And then it was humbling to me one day. I got a bunch of people like in the comments were like, yo, it was really random that I saw my name in a title. So I had to click it. And then, then people started watching that I'm talking about, and it blew their minds in a way like, whoa, I never seen this before. And like, you've talked to people who vlog and, like you want to run a business and stuff like that. You're just kind of like, dude, I'm so invested in like me, not in like a self-centered way, but like, this is my grind. So like, I got to go out there. I got to film. I got to edit. I got to upload. I still got house chores. So like their whole day is just kind of them. So to sit there and actually watch other people was a big thing for people too. And I've also noticed that my demographic, like I think we're the same age. I'm 34.
35, yeah.
35. Okay, yeah. So like, um, I ended up talking to a lot of people that were like married, they have kids, and this is their show. You know what I mean? I get hit up a lot, like, "Hey, dude, Monday nights, like this is my time." You know, the wife and kids are like, "Hey, this he's gonna veg out,
Yeah.
and he's gonna catch up." I'm like, "Dude, that's kind of crazy," you know. And when I started getting all that feedback, I picked like the 8 p.m. time slot, and then I was just like, "Well, Christian, if you're gonna make this a thing, then you should make it a thing." And nighttime TV shows is what people are used to, 30 minutes, desk and image.
Yeah.
And I was just like, can I pull that off? And so that was when I first started, was just like, all right, how do I do this? I need to incorporate like everybody visually on the screen. And I think that's about like where I think I was about 50 episodes. No, a little less than that when somehow you found a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure actually what video that even was, but I just remember just seeing the intro, seeing how you had the screen. It was just like kind of like an old school Dan Rathers like news.
Yeah,
It was just awesome, man.
Yeah, and then I think honestly, I think it was when I talked about Aki a long time ago, and then he shared it, and then I got hit up by the Camera Mafia.
Okay.
I think yeah. So he literally hit me up, and he's just like, "Hey, dude, I want to talk to you." And before that, I went on eBay. I bought like some like basically like a green screen. It was like $40 on eBay. Now they're like way more, but I put the green screen behind me, had the camera, and I was like, all right, cool. I got to learn how to do chroma key. Like I got to key this out now. And I've always been kind of like nerdy in a sense. So like, that's when I was just like, all right, I want a sick intro, you know? So then I got everybody in on the intro. Now I got that, you know, and then the green screen. And then that's when Danny hit me up and he's like, hey, I have like a professional green screen from like a studio that got broken down. I'm going to send it to you. I was like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I got this box in the mail, and dude, this green screen's like 26 feet by 16 feet.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Like it's a legit studio. Like I could stand in front of it on the floor. And I was just like, okay. Yeah, dude. So like I have it like folded like 3 times just to get it like the size of the wall.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started realizing like, okay, there is a like a professional quality to even the materials that you use. And you know, not long story short, but long story short, you know, I keep talking to Danny, and this guy's got like, you know, just crazy cameras. And he kind of talked me into going with like an A6300 as like a good video camera, because I was just like, where's the max I could take this? Okay, 4K.
Yeah.
And even then it's like not max 4K, but you know what I mean? So that's where we are in a sense of just kind of like, I wanted to shoot in 4K. I wanted to make all my graphics, everything else I made. Like, yeah, I had to learn how to like manipulate and use After Effects. I got really good with Premiere. I've always been kind of good with Photoshop. Making the graphics, you need Illustrator. So I just like, I dove into like the whole Adobe world. And then I was just like, all right, cool. I want to try to make all this myself.
Very cool, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it, man. I love everything that you do with the channel, and it's so much information. You put me on to people that I really didn't even know about. You know, I'll watch the channel, the recap, and then I'll see some guys on there and people that I'm not really that familiar with, because the YouTube space, I'm familiar with it, but in a whole, not just the Honda community itself. You know, all of the like the tuner community, all the YouTubers and stuff, and we've been dabbling more and more and more into it. But as far as like the Honda guys, there's still a lot that I'm missing out on, and your channel definitely helps out a lot for me to figure out who's doing what, and you know, who would be a good fit for us to start working with.
Yeah. So that was been lately. What I've been doing is trying to bring a lot of. It might be age, I don't know, but I talk to a lot of people, and I'm just kind of like, there's a lot of people that like don't have time. So like my latest one is like, I talked about how to get consumers, and I hate using that word, but like, you know, how to get like enthusiasts who want to purchase from, you know, you guys. How do I get them in front of your eyes, you know? like there's a lot of guys that are working in the garages. They're making stuff, you know, and this isn't like weird like name drops or anything, but just so people can understand like what I'm talking about. Like obviously there's you, Track Tough Rob, like Raul, like these guys are never out of the garage and they make 98% of all of their products. So like there's a lot of business owners that don't have the like brain space to be like, hey, I need to also market my stuff, you know? And so like I think half of their heart is invested in creation, and the other half is hoping that people appreciate what they're doing and spread it for them. But we also know that like that's a lot harder than we thought, because like for some reason a share or a like, it seems like it's hard for people to just like, you know, like whatever. And we all see it, dude. And I'll be honest with you, like we all see it. Like, hey, what do I get from this? I'm like, I don't know, the fact that they're still willing to make it, like that the fact that it might still be there in a year, that's what you get out of that, dude. And but yeah, like my latest one was like I wanted to hear what people want, what's an easy route, you know what I mean? And like I felt like I grow an audience because we're all really in love with Hondas. And I'm like I say this a lot, I'm like ignorantly biased towards Honda. I don't know why. I'm just kind of like I don't care about other cars. It's just a deep-rooted thing, but I know that I think a lot of people that watch the show also are. So it's like that's the target audience. So how can I pull the target audience to help everybody grow, but also help the community grow at the same time? Like it's like bringing like-minded individuals together and then actually getting answers from them. It's not like some random census across the internet where anybody can join in.
Definitely.
Like I'm literally asking people that like I think we're on the same wavelength, you know?
Yeah. So as far as the recap goes, who are some of the channels that you focus on or that you frequent, and how do you add a new channel on there? How do you add somebody that a new person that you think deserves the spotlight?
Yeah. So I get hit up a lot, like, hey, how do I get on here? How do I get on here? And it's not like pick and choosy, and I feel like it is, and that's to be like straight up honest with you. Like I stopped doing the recap like around New Year's, because I just had a bunch of life stuff. But I started getting like really big anxiety because I was like, personally, I felt like I was getting very redundant, and then I felt like, oh, maybe I'm like not covering everybody, but it's like, how do I cover everybody in like a 30-day or in like a 30-minute period? And then that's when like anxiety started to really hit me personally. Like, fuck, dude, I feel like I'm failing people, or I'm feeling like I'm failing myself. Like maybe the quality is dipping and stuff like that. And obviously you see the recap and you're like, oh, this is instant exposure. And it's to not sound like a jerk, but in some ways I have to be like, well, if I put you in front of the masses and then you fall off, it's kind of like, damn, well, then cool, that's it. But I don't mean like that's it, like whatever. It's not like I'm not watching, dude. My sub list is like 500, and that includes like other things too, like other interests and stuff. But like if I see a video, you know, like, oh, B18 drop in my Integra, and I see they just posted, and then I see that like 3 days later they posted, and then, you know, a week later they posted, and I'm like, okay, this guy's like, he's trying. So like, you know, I'll sub and I'll comment, you know, like, hey, I'm here and I'm watching. And then, you know, the next month, just nothing. And I'm like, okay, life happens. I understand that. So cool. But then like, but that's it.
Yeah.
But then I also get DMs from people that are also just like, hey, dude, my last video. And I'm like, fuck, dude, how do I not sound like an asshole, but also say like, hey, dude, like it's the Honda Recap Weekly.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage people to like go for it, you know, like go for it. Like the algorithm says 3 days a week will push your channel.
3 days?
And yeah, posting 3 days a week. That's like that's like the old I don't know if it's still there, but I'm pretty sure if you post 3 days a week, the algorithm likes you and it like keeps pushing because it keeps you active, right? All YouTube wants is your eyes on the screen. So 3 days a week you can do it. That's awesome. But as far as like getting new people on the show, it's really just knowing that you post weekly and consistently. And I feel like you're going to keep going. And that's why like I constantly give like Dana props because like, dude, that's like one of the hardest working dudes on YouTube. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I've met him in person, Dana Young Static.
Yeah, Young
Like,
Static.
yeah. I've met him in person, and I've like gone through his catalog of just like, wow, dude, I literally remember watching you before like I thought YouTube was a thing.
Yeah.
Like YouTube was like cat videos and random stuff,
Really? He's
right?
been doing
And
it
then,
that long?
dude, Dana's been making videos for a very long time, dude.
Wow.
If you ever go to his channel and you like do like date from like oldest to newest, you're just like, oh my god. And it was sporadic, same set, same driveway, and then it just turned on and then turned down. And now he's like super juiced, like he's almost at 100K, and he hasn't stopped, dude, for the past like 2 or 3 months. It's been daily uploads, which is insane because like he's up at 4 a.m. like editing, and then by like 9 or 10 the next day, new video. And yeah, dude, that's why I give Dana like massive credit.
Shout out to him,
And then,
man. Young
yeah,
Static.
dude,
He's a cool dude, man. I like him.
Yeah, and same on camera and off camera, and same thing with Zosh. Same thing, been going hard. Same dude on camera, off camera.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And but yeah, so I always push people to like upload daily. And what I learned through me kind of getting anxiety and being worried about like, well, am I pissing people off because I don't talk about them? I try to rotate everybody in, but there's always the hard hitters. There's the guys that are there every week.
Mm-hmm.
So because they're there every week, I try to like not talk about them almost every week, but sometimes on a weekly basis, there isn't anything. So it's like, I can't just not recap. This is my thing. I have to at least have a roster,
Yeah.
So I'm always there. I'm always following. And as long as like I see people that are consistent in uploading, I'm just kind of like, all right, cool. Let's get them into rotation. And then for a while, early on, I was doing Instagram and YouTube.
Okay.
But then like I was like, damn, these editing sessions are turning into like fucking 6-hour sit downs of just like, okay, screenshot.
Yeah.
And then I got to know about a person on Instagram, which is really weird. Am I going to do like follow this person's weekly life on Instagram? And then I have dude, it got too much. So I was just like, all right, I'm going to stick to YouTube because at least it's like its own ecosystem and it's much smaller. So it's that's kind of where I went with that. But yeah,
very cool, man. Yeah, I could just imagine it being a lot of pressure, especially for having, in the Honda community, it's kind of hard to say, but there's not that much shame, in people asking for things that kind of you don't ask for, like you don't really ask for like, hey, put me in your video, but people do that stuff, and we get that with like the podcast too, we're running a show. You're running a show.
Yeah.
I'm running a show. This show has to be interesting to more people than just the person that wants to be on the show, wants to be on the podcast or whatever. So it has to make sense because this is your project. This is your baby. You're going to raise it however you want to raise it. So it's like, you should build it however you want to. And I understand what you mean about having the anxiety and having people like feeling guilty, like, damn, I haven't given that person an episode. I haven't had them on the recap lately. But it kind of pushes people more to want to be in that. And I can kind of align that to when Joey Lee was doing the year review with like the top 10, the top 10,
the fact that he made it a number exponentially made things very difficult considering who he is. So it's like, it's not like you haven't seen every car. I mean, obviously you probably didn't, but one way or another, you've probably seen some of the craziest builds and like, there's a lot of people. So the fact that Joey was just like 10, it's like, okay, good luck with that one, dude. Like, I don't want anything to do with that decision. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so man, you just take it whatever direction that you want to take it. It's great to hear the feedback from people, but the more people that you have in your ears, the more cooks in the kitchen, it just makes things so much harder, like I said with the podcast, I'll have people that are trying to recommend things to me, and I like to make the podcast an actual journey, with episode to episode to episode. Like even we've been doing kind of like a series of OG racers, but now since everything is kind of dying down with the corona, we're starting to bring in guests into the studio again and just like mixing it up. Sometimes I want to have Honda guys on. Sometimes I want to have somebody on that doesn't give a shit about cars at all. You got to keep it interesting, because at the end of the day, when you're doing your research, when you're editing, you're the only one that's there. You're the only one that's making this happen. So it's good to hear those opinions from other people. But man, you've been doing a great job. Just keep running it how you want to run it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I listened to a lot of podcasts, and then like obviously I listened to a lot of Rogan, but then like I really like Theo Vaughn, Tom Segura, like Bert Kreischer, like all those. For some reason, I aligned with those comedians, and like I listened to a lot of their podcasts. And at that point, I'm just kind of like, all right, I think that could be a direction of like I have a lot to say, and I've been in the community a while, and I'm not like I'm not huge. I'm not trying to say like, oh, I've been around, but like I've always liked this one thing. So you see like trends and stuff like that, and like. The recap was always me. It's still my channel. I wish I had time to work on my own cars, but like, I work, and then I also like do this on the weekend. So it's like, that's one of my 2 days. So that's kind of my time to like just vent or talk about certain things that like, someone did something that bothered me. How can I talk about it, but not in like a negative way, but like, how can I give a different perception to people so that they know like, oh, hey, we should definitely be going this direction. And so that's why I've been like doing a lot more like talking, still doing the recap, and just trying to make it more my own, because I feel like you said, like I just like you can see the amount of anxiety that could kick in and stuff like that. And so at that point, I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna like mold it in a direction that I feel more comfortable doing it. And I've been seeing like progress and people's comments that it's really interesting to me that like. I'll upload a video and, analytics is there, and it's just kind of like, your average view duration is like 10 minutes. And in my head, when I do a premiere, my buddy actually said this to me once, DJ, he was just kind of like, hey, dude, I saw like 20 people live in your premiere. And I was like, yeah, and I've seen up to like 30 or more. And when he was like, hey, dude, that's like a classroom.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, 30 people? That's 30 people who decided to sit down and just listen to you talk for like 20 to 30 minutes. And like at that point, I was just like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's actually really cool, because it's kind of like, all right, let's kick it, and that's why I really enjoy doing it premiere, because like the live chat's going, always the same people, sometimes the new people. And I'm just like, dude, people are really here to hang out. And so it's humbling, and also just like, I don't know, it's just tight. Like I got no other words for the fact that it's just kind of like, yo, God, I'm really happy people are here, because it's just me,
Yeah, I think that people don't understand the numbers, but once you break it down like that, it's a lot. If your video gets, if you're starting off on YouTube and your video starts getting 100 views or something like that, that's 100 people that came to check out your content that you made, and that's huge. And if you think about it like that, you'll start to respect the numbers even when they're smaller. Because you could see a channel like somebody like TJ Hunt. He puts up a video in 1 hour, 50,000, 100,000 views. And it's so easy to get distracted. But you have to see the path that somebody like TJ has gone in the last 4 or 5 years. Every single day. Have you been doing that? Have I been doing that? Has any of the guys that are starting channels been doing that? No. So you're not going to get those kind of views. But if you want, that's the path to go down. So if you start off with your classroom, all right, guys, next week, let's make this bigger. And then a few months later, you have the auditorium, and then you're speaking to the graduating class, and then so on and so forth. It's just building your community up.
Yeah, and it's been interesting just because like I'm not a showy person. I'm like, I would call myself an introvert, but you wouldn't guess that if you watched any of my videos.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people don't understand that like a lot of these dudes are pretty introverts. Like They're not really like crazy outgoing people, you know? But what they don't understand is like I'm by myself with a camera, and that's my element. I'm
Yeah.
by myself, you know? So like that's cool. But then like, you know, you go to a show and you really got to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to walk through Week Fest with a camera 2 feet out in front of my face, 1,000 people like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
But you still got to be you. So like there's a wall that has to be broken down, or you're going to be holding the camera and like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, that's okay. You got to break through those walls. And like, I see a lot of people when they start, I don't hate on people who are trying to imitate personalities to an extent, because I think that is what you're used to seeing.
Yeah.
So you're going to emulate that. And then what I really want people to do is like find your groove, and then also just be like, I see your personality come out, and I'm like, I want that.
Yes.
I want more of that dude.
Yeah.
That weird guy for a second who like fumbled but caught himself, but I can tell that like, hey, that's you, dude. You fumble and catch yourself a lot. Like, I want that, you know? And then you can kind of watch people like become themselves. And like you said, you know, like the first 100 views, you're just kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. And that's fine, because it's like, that's the whole point. You know what I mean? Like, not too many people, if ever, like went viral on their first video. And it's really hard to go viral in automotive. Straight out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. So when speaking of the subject of people not being themselves, do you notice that a lot on YouTube, since you focus on it a lot, you have a lot of subscribers or channels that you subscribe to, and you watch a variety of videos?
Not specifically often, but I do see formats. That is what I do notice the most. Like I said, because I started watching a lot of Peter McKinnon. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
He does a lot of creative stuff, a lot of like how-tos, but he's very cinematic. And that's where I got my intro from, because he starts every video and he says it a lot, like he talks from his chest. So it's just like, what's up, guys? Yeah. And you're just like instantly engaged. And I'm like, I like that, because like right from the start, you're bringing the energy, you know? So it's like, all right, awesome. And then there was Casey Neistat, who was doing daily vlogs in New York. And so his format was intro, I talk to you, drone scene, really doing something, drone scene, sit down, talk to you. Like that was a formula. And so very quickly I can watch somebody's video. And because I watch a lot of YouTube, I could be like, okay, you're using that formula. You're using this formula. And then people's personalities, I kind of see that too. But I do see many times that people fall out of that pretty quickly, because it's really hard to be somebody else very long. And I think it's faster for a person to fall off making videos than it is to like continue on a fake personality.
Yeah.
So I think I'll watch a couple people and I'm just kind of like, hey, this is dope, you know? And I can't think of anybody offhand. I've seen a lot, but like, this is awesome. And then they kind of go away. But those couple videos were not them. And you could tell it's like, oh, you're trying to be like Logan Paul or something like that. And it's kind of like, dude, that only works for him.
Yeah.
That's like, because that fool's nuts. So it's like that energy only works for him and his crazy like Adderall life. Not really that he's out, but you know what I mean? Just like, dude, he's like all over the place, you know? So, but like that only works for certain people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always try to encourage people to like just be themselves, because it's proven time and time again that organic growth is the best. So organic personalities are going to follow suit.
Yeah, definitely. So who are some of your favorite channels to watch in the Honda space?
Right off the bat, I really like Zosh, just for being like really authentic with himself.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that like he's just always just himself, and he's had one car his entire time. And I'm just like, I give him a lot of props for that as well, because I'm just kind of like, yo, I like the fact that you've built this entire thing off one Integra.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean? Like no Evos. I know he really wants one, but like none of that, you know? I also give a lot of props to Honda Street Garage, because that dude's just a wealth of information. And like season 1 through 5 is just literally like an encyclopedia of knowledge. And so I'm like, the fact that someone's willing to fucking do that is legit. And then obviously Dana, because he's just consistently on the grind. Now I'm drawing a blank, and I do this almost every week. You know
It's
what I'm
all
saying?
good, dude.
Yeah. But obviously, right hand drive Kev, that guy's. It's crazy to watch what Four Bangers has created itself as to being like as far as a merch line, but also just like watching somebody grow like their space. Another dude I actually really like is John Widmer from Garage Built Hondas. He's in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got like 6 EFs. Yeah, I compare him to Dana because I say that like John Widmer is like the EF god, or Dana's the EF god, and John Widmer is like the like almost like a legend. Like between the both of them, the knowledge is insane.
Yeah.
And I've many times I've joked about it, and I'm almost kind of serious that I would love to raise money and give them money and be like, here's X amount of cash. Let's have an EF build off. That's literally where their heart is. So like, I would love to see what you guys can create. And like, they're also very like Dana's very drag strip and John Widmer is very circuit track.
Yeah.
So it's 2 different kind of builds and they're purpose built. So it'd be really interesting to use their knowledge and parts to just be like, yo, let's see what you guys can create, you know? And man, I'll think of more.
Now, I saw you the other day. You did the intro for a PFI video.
Yeah.
How did that work out?
I've talked to Brent for like a hot minute. Like Brent's one of the coolest guys I've met, and like I've never actually met him, but like I followed Kyle. Oh, that's another one, Kyle, Boosted Boys. Hey, to be honest with you, dude, like a lot of YouTubers have been around before Boosted Boys.
Yeah.
But Boosted Boys started doing things that like were reckless, and not in a negative way, but reckless. Like, damn, okay, they're going for it, and it started to really gain traction. And I think max power, burnouts, drag strips, that's going to bring in the 1320s, the Cletus guys, the like, it's going to bring in that audience, and those audience bring in the muscle guys, and the muscle guys start to like transform into, wow, these little Hondas can do things.
Yeah.
So that I really feel like Kyle and the Boosted Boys and all those guys like definitely helped put YouTube on the map as far as content. Not saying that, you know, everybody else I've spoke about didn't, but the fact that like Boosted Boys got to like, I think they're like at 6, maybe 800,000 subscribers, that trickled down in the aspect of like, hey, this is a thing.
Yeah.
And they kind of opened that door, you know? And sorry, I forgot your question already.
No, it's all good. I was asking you how you ended up doing the intro on their video. Okay, everybody, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, and we'll be back in 1 minute. We all know that there's tons of places you can buy your car parts at, but when you really need help, who's in your corner? When you need parts for your Honda, you need to visit HeelToeAuto.com. Since 2002, Heel-Toe has built a reputation for service and support. Let me repeat that, guys. Since 2002. It's 2020 right now. That's a long time of experience, man. These social media slingers and copycat web stores can't match Heel-Toe's professionalism. Heel-Toe even offers a complete OEM store for all your genuine parts needs. Whether it's for show, race, or just a badass daily, remember that HeelToeAuto.com is in your corner. And guys, if you're on Instagram, make sure you check them out at Heel-Toe Automotive. Please go to their page right now, add them, and comment that you heard them on Downtime with Downstar podcast. Next up is Downstar. Downstar is the premium leader in dress-up hardware and engine bay accessories. We have all the nuts and bolts for all your screwing and nutting needs. From engine kits, transmission kits, mount kits, clutch lines, brake kits, t-shirts, skateboards, hats, lighters. Damn, we got it all. We actually have too much, guys. So if you can, please come over and buy some stuff at downstaring.com or check us out at Instagram at Downstar. Make sure you give us a follow. Now back to the show. Like,
yeah. So Brent, I've been talking to Brent for a while. Just like, you know, I'll see something on Instagram and I'll, you know, send him some like fire emojis or something like that. And then when I stopped making the videos for a while, I'd still talk to him, and he hit me up, dude. And he was just like, hey, dude, I'd love to have you make an intro for PFI. Like, and I was like, okay. And at that time, I hadn't even like made a video in a while. So I knew like, okay, if I do this video, Christian, you got to get off your ass and like get back to business. Like, and I'm like, all right. So we, joked about like doing the green screen, the same intro, same ordeal. And, it was like second nature at this point. So I was just kind of like, all right, cool. Let's do it. I'll hop right in. And I made the intro and I sent it to him, and like, dude, Brent's dope, dude. Like, he's got like zero feedback because he's just down with everything. So he's just kind of like, let's roll with it, dude. And then he used it, and they were in Florida doing like the smart car stuff.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and like, we didn't really like talk about when or anything. So I was just watching a random PFI video, like, all right, well, like in any other day. And then like, I'm on the screen and I'm just like, hey, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that happened, and I'm still humbled by that because I'm just like, okay, this is a thing now.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you wearing the Downstar shirt in that video too, man.
Yeah. I had it, dude. And I was just kind of like, well, hey, man, I don't know. I have this on. Let's fucking go for it, And that's why I was just like, cool. Why not?
Yeah, we really want to get Brent here on the podcast. So if you guys are listening right now and you want to see Brent, make sure you tag him and tell him that you want to see him on the Downstar podcast.
That guy can talk, dude. He's got a lot of stories, dude. Like when you were talking to like Papadakis, not that like a couple episodes ago. Like I didn't really realize until like I watched a lot of Boosted Boys videos that like Brent was doing like 9-second cars in like the late 90s, like all around the same time, but he was like in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, whoa, because I'm not like super versed with all the drag racing stuff, but obviously I've heard the Bergenholtz and the Papadakis. Like I heard all that stuff here being in California and SoCal. Colorado, I never knew that like the drag racing scene was as big as it was there.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see that like, dude, Brent's been around and like has been doing the same stuff like states over, So that's why I was like, oh, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, I would love to talk to him, man, because I want to get the idea of when did Honda start to get popular in your area, So it's kind of common knowledge that the Honda community was birthed here in SoCal and then spread out. Sure. But as that's spreading, like you say, Brent in Colorado had to hear about it somehow, what the guys were doing. Guys in New York, guys in, Florida. So when did everybody's community start to blossom? When was the first time that you started seeing like Hondas? You know what I mean? Did I lose you? Did I lose you? You good?
Yeah. We blanked out a second. All right, cool.
Hold on,
now we're back.
Let me let me write down the time.
Nice.
That was weird.
Yeah. It just stopped. But okay. I heard when everybody's community, probably somewhere around there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I want to do, is to be able to have all of these podcasts, and then maybe one day we can put them in kind of like a timeline, just like the Avengers, So episode 107 was at the beginning, and then it goes, and then it tells the guys are telling their stories of when they got into the community. And I think that would be really cool, because it would paint a picture for people to see how deep the roots really are.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you mentioned that a long time ago, like the put in a timeline for the Honda community is just interesting, because like I think we all almost experienced the same stuff. We're just in different times. And like to think that people in New York, Colorado, like wherever drag racing is big, the competition was the number.
Yeah.
How fast can you go? So some way, somehow, phone call, like your boy's at a track in New York, calls you in Colorado, and he's like, hey, dude, this dude just ran a 9.2 all motor. What? No way. Oh, what is it? You know what I mean? And then like, that's the only way, you know? And I'm sure then there was no like build sheets. It's like, hey, no one's telling them what we did, And so now you're like, I got to beat 9.2. But the other crazy part is like, you're trying to beat numbers at elevation, which is just insane. Cause like, we're at sea level, but then you go to Colorado and you're way like a mile above that. And then, you go to New York and you're at a different place. And so it's like, tuning becomes a giant thing. Like your motor can make a bunch of power in California. You can go to Colorado. It can make more or less. It's just like, it's where your car is. But everybody's like in this graph, right? Like this channel of like how fast is fast with what you have. But yeah, dude, that would be a legit
Yeah.
guest for sure. Yeah.
So that's definitely my plan. Let's actually get back to the break that you took.
Yeah.
I was going back on your channel, checking out the videos, and you were very, very, very consistent. And then it seems like you fell off. You took a break. So what happened in this time?
Um, I decided to take a break, like I was saying, because like basically my schedule would be like I work and then I have a weekend. And so my Sunday, and I've talked to people who are like, you could do it this way. And I'm like, yeah, but then I feel weird, right? Because like I do it weekly. So I give till Sunday to kind of see like what's happened that week. And then
Mm,
I did my video on Sunday. So it would eat up my entire Sunday. So my weekend became one day.
mm.
And so that's also really stressful when like you have a girlfriend, and you're trying to like be a good partner, but like, oh yeah, starting like 3 o'clock deuces. I'm like, I'm in this little world. And at that time also, I've been in this apartment and they were like, hey, we have to renovate your apartment. And I
Mm.
was like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, so we can move you into a different apartment that's already been renovated, or we have to renovate yours. And I'm like, dude, I've been here a really long time, like perfect spot. So I don't really want to move. So they're like, all right, in order to do that, like you got to move out of your apartment and then we got to renovate and you got to move back in.
Wow.
And yeah, because like I don't know, they were at like the end of a contract or something, so they're like, dude, we have to the end of this year to get all of our units redone. So like now I'm back into that process because of the whole Corona thing. So at that time, it was half, hey, I need to take a personal time, and I also at the time like wanted to work on my Del Sol,
Mm-hmm.
and I had no time. So like if I was gonna do it, I needed to do it myself, and I was able to like get the motor in, do everything that I could have done very quickly.
Yeah.
That I did. It took me like 2 weeks to get everything done, but it dragged out like months because like I didn't want to go back to the shop on a weekend. I wanted to like have a weekend, but then I'm still doing the recap. So it kind of turned into half just dealing with that like anxiety and anxiousness and feeling like I'm repeating myself. Like I would get done and hit end on the camera and feel like I just did this.
Yeah.
Something's up. I got to change this up somehow. And then on top of that, I moved out of my whole apartment, half. Like we boxed up my apartment, boxed up everything, and then Corona hit. Hey, dude, we can't do your apartment. Like construction's called off. Everyone's going on lockdown. So like the past like 3 months, I've just had like the bare necessities in like my apartment, like boxed up in the garage, like just like
Ay.
in this weird, yeah. So that was the other half of it, of just kind of like, dude, like whatever. My studio is down, all this stuff, and then when Brent hit me up, it was kind of like an awakening in a way of just kind of like, hey, dude, you should do this. And I was just like, all right. So I set everything up in the garage and had like a little garage studio because like everything in my apartment's just gone, like the green screen's taken down. So like in that time, I found out that okay, I'm semi-productive without this, so I need to take advantage of that. And I needed just to take some personal time, I guess, for myself. And in that time, I got my car done. I got a bunch of stuff done, hanging out with the girlfriend, trying to build a relationship that's just like more time on the weekends. So it's just kind of like cool progressing in life in general, and now we're starting to get the ball on the roll, or getting the ball rolling, I guess,
Yeah.
and like now I'm actually going to move out of my apartment so they can do this, because like here in Northern California, they're like, yeah, you can do construction again. But yeah, that's where I was for the past couple months, is like half living in my apartment and then half just trying to like get my personal life back on track, in a sense of like I want to do more than just the recap. That's always just been a thing that like has been my consistent, like, hey Christian, you need to at least make one upload a week. How are you going to do it? Oh, the recap. But like, dude, on my computer, I have like a bunch of vlogs that like I've started and then have never had time to edit, of
Yeah.
like all of this stuff. And then I'm like, oh, now it's all outdated. So fuck it. We're done with this vlog. Start over. Or I don't like how this turned out, so I'm not using it.
Yeah.
And that's just being like super overcritical of myself. So like now I'm back with at least my one edit a week. And so at that point, I'm just like, dude, this is dope. And I'm really happy because like now I'm getting back in, and I never left the community, like I still talk to everybody. We're going back and forth all the time. I just wanted to make sure that like I could be a part of it in some way. And this is my way of just being a part of the community, even though I can't like go vlog full time.
I mean, it's you're doing your part. You're doing a very big service to the community. I know a lot of these guys that see themselves on your channel every single week, hear what you have to say about them. That's very encouraging to them because I'm
Yeah.
sure in their comments, they get a lot of negative comments or even positive comments. You still don't know where that comment's really coming from. But to have somebody that you respect, somebody that's actually taking time to watch your video, review it, and give their opinion on it, and to give you like that virtual thumbs up, like that's a lot
Yeah.
because I guarantee a lot of these guys are in the same space that you were in. This is so stressful. We had Zosh on here. He's talking about the stresses that he goes through and the
Yeah.
pressures to build his channels. Just imagine somebody even bigger than that. Imagine the guys like you were saying, like the Boosted Boys with 600 plus K subscribers. I
Yeah.
guarantee once the cameras go off, those guys are probably like, damn, what are we gonna do next? What's the next
Yeah.
thing that we're gonna do? And then you see that transition into like the big name guys, like the like a TJ Hunt, and now they've
Yeah.
started off from we're doing FRSs, and now we're gonna do GTRs, and then now Ferrari, now Aventador, and it's just
Yeah.
like, dude, it has to be so stressful because you're already reaching the pinnacle of the automotive community. What's the next thing you're going to do is like go back to the beginning and say, all right, well, since we've done all that, we're going to go to the junkyard and make this car like a SEMA car or whatever,
Yeah.
It's got to be
Yeah.
hard, dude.
It's really difficult. And I give a lot of people credit for those that like, for lack of a better term, like stay in their lane in
Yeah.
a sense. Like a lot of these guys like are just Hondas and they've built their channel on just Honda. And, we've seen a lot of like TJ Hunt where like, he had an S2000. So I was like, oh, awesome. And then that kind of went away. And then the Supra and then Ferrari. And it's just kind of like, okay, you have like he's made himself an automotive channel.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine because we're all automotives. But at the same time, like, dude, some of us are just Honda. So to grow your brand and grow your channel on like one genre of vehicle is really hard because it's like, oh, okay, cool, you K-swapped. Oh, yeah. Like, oh, this guy just put a B-series. Like Tommy Law, that's another guy. Tommy Law in SoCal. Like, dude, one of the cleanest EKs you could get, did a B-series. Everyone's, oh, why didn't you go K? And it's just like, dude, because I get K is the way, but like, not everyone wants that, And so like you do other things where people are like, oh, you have to K-swap. You have to K-swap. And it's like, well, you don't. Like, you don't have to K-swap. But like in progression of your car, like, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? You can keep getting new cars for sure.
Yeah.
But like, how do you do that? Like Zosh did the B series, B20 VTEC, like 6 different motors. Then he went K series, and then you get another K series, and it's like, it's the same car. So like, that's what I sit there and I'm just like, dude, these guys that are grinding off like one car consistently is insane that the channel is growing because it's like at some point where if I felt repetitive, I wonder if other people feel repetitive because they're like, damn, what else can I do to my car? And then the unspoken thing is like, do you guys think all this is free?
Yeah.
Like, do you guys think like, oh, I'm just getting these parts? Like, no, dude, like I'm pretty sure there's like untold stories of like, hey, dude, my credit card's maxed the fuck out right now, dude.
Yeah.
But like I needed a video, so like I bought this like Skunk 2 manifold. Cool. Okay, well then I got this hardware kit from Downstar. Okay, so I had to get that. And then I had to get this, and then before you know it, like, cool, dude, like you spent maybe $1,000 on that manifold, you spent probably like another $60 on hardware, and then before you know it, like, cool, that video is gonna give you what? $20?
Yeah.
$40. When? Oh, 30 days later? Oh, you got to fill a month.
So,
cool. Okay.
So how do you justify it then?
Yeah. How do you? Like, are you asking me personally?
I'm asking you personally because I know how I justify it, but I want to get your point of view from it.
Oh, I justify it from just being a part of the community. Like, I'll be straight up. Like, I don't make any money on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like I've made like a couple $100 in like the whole,
yeah.
whole fucking thing. So like, I literally do it to just like keep the community together. I really love the fact that like some dudes hit me up and they're just like, hey man, like this is my only time. Like I got 3 kids, 2 jobs, and yada yada yada, and like this is my like Conan,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
this is
yeah.
my like nighttime TV show, dude. And I'm like, cool. For 30 minutes, I get nothing but Honda,
Yeah.
and you get to just be like, oh, I'm a crazy man because I get nothing of Honda for this amount of time. But yeah, like yeah, dude. My motivation is the fact that like I feel like I'm actually part of a community, which is awesome, and I can kind of bring some people together, which is cool because like all my friends are into Hondas, and now it's kind of like bringing like other random people into like my little world, which is really fun for me.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, man, because even with the podcast, like it's 173. We barely got a sponsor, and I'm super grateful for it. Episode 150, we're with Heel to Automotive, which
So
is
yeah,
aligned with the Honda community right now. So it was like a perfect match, and it was I'm really grateful that Marcus decided to take the risk with us. But that's 150 episodes, an hour and a half plus each episode. That's a lot of content, And it's
yeah,
if you're doing this for the money, you're gonna have to wait a few years and put in a
yeah,
lot of work before this money comes out. But what really pays off a lot more than the money, and maybe this is the same with you, is after you release the episode, you get these comments, you get this feedback, and
yeah.
I appreciate that more than any money that we would even get off of it.
Yeah. I've been hit up before, and this is kind of a question I actually had for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is I'm really bad. Like I love marketing, like visual effects, doing stuff like that. But it's almost like a weird, like just to be like, I guess like to be super transparent. I'm not a very, like I said, showy person.
Mm-hmm.
When the recap comes out, I really push people to hit the notification bell so they know that it's going to come out. I actually do find myself, and this is actually something that you talked about with Mickey from Throttle.
Mm-hmm.
He physically hates going on Instagram and saying my video is out.
Yeah.
And that does the same thing to me. Like my video goes out and I'll take my thumbnail and I'll put it on a story and I'll just be like, hey, link in bio. And we're talking like, dude, it already aired.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if I would have done it hours earlier, more people probably would have been like, oh shit, it's in like an hour. But it's like already aired and I'm already like in my zone, in my little group.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Christian, you're not really doing yourself your due diligence or justice if you're not going to promote yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And that's like my inner monologue while I'm sitting here watching this going on. And so like, I guess also my question either for you or advice, because I see like how active you are, is like, at what point were you just kind of like, hey, I gotta promote myself? Because like I said, dude, like I don't do any marketing. I don't do any promotion. Like I'm happy that people will take a picture and share for me. But like, I'm really not great at being like, hey, look at me, look what I just did. And I've never been that way. So it's kind of really, it's almost like, I don't know. It's like a big step for me mentally and physically to just be like, hey, I did something. Go look.
Got you. I feel you. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm the best at marketing with the podcast either. As far as Downstar, it's just like a second nature to me. I see where the value is in the product that we're offering. I see where our customer could see the value at, and I just, try to paint the picture for them and just show them what we have, but it's it comes from a very genuine spot, which means that it's not really that hard for me to do. And maybe things that I don't even notice are good with marketing, other people see it because it's just like a second nature thing for me. Like you said earlier that we just get so wrapped up in our own world. Like this is my whole ecosystem. Everything is like about Downstar, minus family and stuff like that. When I'm at home, that's totally different. But like when I'm on the grind mode, when I'm ready to go, it's just like, okay, this is Downstar. we're gonna keep the machine growing, and the podcast, Downstar Skate, everything else is part of it. So whenever I have something come up, and then you got to know the algorithms too. If you flood it too much, too many swipe ups, too many calls to action, people are going to kind of get bored of it. So what I like to do, this is how I do the podcast, right? I'll give you the best example, because today we release a podcast. Today's Thursday. We release every Monday and Thursday, right? We recorded the episode last night, Wednesday, at like 8:00. My cousin and I came in the podcast studio and we recorded the podcast for maybe an hour and a half, right? So by the time we get started, by the time we leave, by the time I get home, it's probably like 10:30 at night. The podcast has to be up at 3 a.m., so it's up at 6 a.m. for the East Coast. So when those guys get up, get to work, go their drive or whatever, they can listen to the podcast. So get home, upload the files and things like that, and it takes time. Dude, these videos are like 40 gigs long, 40 gigs big, so have to do that, have to edit it up. But I have it all in a list of things that I have to do. I have to do the YouTube video, I have to do the audio, I have to do the thumbnail, I have to do the commercial. So I have all of that stuff. And actually the commercials don't take that long. So I did the commercial for today's podcast this morning. Get up, find a little section, cut it. I already have my my templates ready to go. Right. So cut it, boom, 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 do everything. This one's swipe up, this one's link in bio, this one is for the main post, and then you just have it. You just have the things that you need, your necessities, and then it's upload day. So like around 10 a.m. or something like that. The podcast came out at 3 a.m., 6 a.m., 3 a.m., 6 a.m. So 10 a.m., 1 a.m., 1 p.m. It's already been out. So now people that might not know about it, links up, and then my job is done. My job is done for today. I feel like I did my due diligence. Podcast is up, and if people want to check it out, cool. If they don't, cool. But I don't really stress that much about like, all right, it's coming out tomorrow. Get ready, guys, get ready. It's out now, because we're 173 episodes in, and it's not like a special a sale coming out or something like that. This is more of a routine kind of thing. So if you get into a routine, even how to make videos, like the I forget how. Remember the one you did for me, the Downtime with Downstar, with like the moving. Yeah. If you have something like that, and then you just have a spot where you insert the video at the new clip, and then as soon as you're ready to the episode's uploaded, just do a small commercial, and then just set it on your phone. 10 a.m. I'm gonna post about this, and then that's it. You're done.
That's one of the things that I joked with you like a while ago that I've been interpersonally trying to work on myself, is like my ability to help people before I can help myself. Yeah. And so that's been a big thing this past year or past year and a half, is like starting to put myself first, because like I've always been like I joked, it's like maybe not the greatest joke, but it's kind of funny, where like I'm a really good young Jamie. Yeah. And I find it really hard to be the Rogan because like I don't want to be the spotlight. Yeah. But I can see things in people, and this is where the recap came in. Is like I can see things in people and be like, "Hey, you were gifted like this. This is your thing. Please do that." And some people listen, and some people don't, and also some people like take comments like that, kind of like, "Oh, who the fuck are you?" Yeah. But like I have an ability to like sometimes interact with people or talk to them and understand like, hey, you are really gifted and talented in this area, and you're not taking advantage of that. You should really do this. Like when I sent you that video for the podcast, instantly in my head, I'm like, oh, I know this design. It would go good with the podcast. It took me no time to make for you. Yeah. But it would take me forever to do for myself. So that's one thing, and like, I had a really good friend, kind of off topic, but not off topic. Like I worked with this guy, and we worked in a warehouse, and I kept hearing like sick, like trance beats and for hours. And I was just kind of like, dude, is this a radio station? And I finally went down in the warehouse, and it was this guy, and he's my friend John, and he'd be in the warehouse on a keyboard with like virtual DJ, and all day long he was mixing. Like the whole day was one long mix. And I was just like, hey, dude, what are you a DJ? He goes, oh, no, I do this for me. I'm like, you do this for you?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I just do it for me. And I'm like, no, you need to do this for the world, dude. And he's just like, what? No. And then we hung out. I went to his house, and he has like, the typical DJ stuff. He's got his speakers, his turntables, just racks and racks, right? And a vinyl. And I'm like, no, dude, you're no. Like it was starting to bother me.
Yeah.
And I found this website that this was like 10 years ago when like Shoutcast. I don't know if you remember Shoutcast. You could like stream out.
Okay.
It was a Shoutcaster. It was called like Liquid.fm, and they were in the UK. And I sent this dude an email, and I think I just took one of his mixes and I sent it to them because you could use this website, and you would get a time slot and you would air music. You'd get like a time slot, you know what I mean? And I sent it to him. And then that dude, apparently the guy who did recruiting was out, and so the CEO of the company was actually there that week doing that dude's job. And he hits up my buddy John, and he goes, is this you? And he's like, yeah, what the hell? And I went down. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm sorry, but like your shit's bomb, dude. Like you don't understand how talented you are. And he's just like, what? This is crazy. Oh, okay, right? So long story short, my friend lives in Sweden now. He's now a host DJ at a restaurant and a chef. And he has like 4 radio shows throughout the week. And
wow.
Yeah. So he flew out to the UK, met the guy, started doing mixes, came back, realized like, I don't belong here anymore. I belong there.
Yeah.
So moved his entire life out there, and now he's been in Sweden, and now he's like pretty big as far as like DJs, and he runs like 4 shows. And there's we have like in the early 90s, if anyone's hearing this, there used to be a label called Frequency 8, and it was a big like trance guy named Mars and Dilute. Dilute actually made not Insomniac. Maybe Insomniac. Who makes like Pascal is EDC? Is that Insomniac?
No, Insomnia is. I'm pretty sure that's EDC.
EDC. So it's Insomniac is Pascal, and he runs Insomniac. Up here we have. I'm already blanking on the name, but that's made by this guy named Dilute, and Dilute came from like that era of trance. And Mars was like one of the big pioneers of like cyber trance and also just kind of like deep trance here. But that was always John's like, like a deadhead. He would follow that dude everywhere, right? So after years of being in Sweden, somehow they crossed paths, and I got involved in bringing Frequency 8 back out of like hibernation. And now John is like basically running the company. So he's basically running his dream company that he's like followed. And I was just like, here you go, sir. Like, it's just crazy how that worked out. Long story short, but like, yeah, dude, I guess like a long-winded way of just saying like, I can see things and wanting to help people. And in the past couple years, or this year specifically, it's been like, hey, how do I do that for myself, dude? And I see other people that are like very good at promoting themselves. And I can't tell if it's just like, oh, they've always been like that, or if it's like Mikey from Throttle, where he's just like, I have to. And it's like, almost feels like it's begrudgingly like, but if I don't, but you're one of those people that, and it's probably also because like Downstar has just been your thing since like high school.
Yeah.
So you're just, this is my shit, dude. Like I've always been about this. So it's just a little easier, and as long as Downstar is in the name with skate or, music or whatever you push the brand into, you're always going to be like, well, Downstar is my root, and I'm Frank Downstar.
Yeah.
So I just got to do that,
Yeah. 2 things, I can attest to the kind of person that you are as for wanting to help out people, because you've given me, some people to have on the podcast. And one that you connected me with was huge for me, that's Alfredo Mancuso.
Yeah.
And he was one of the owners of On Some Shit. You guys might know it, the bike brand. But you actually linked me up with him, and I wasn't really familiar with him at the time, just of his work, what he's done. And then we ended up having him on the podcast, and then and then we've just kept in touch ever since then, and we're supposed to be hanging out when this corona shit's gonna go away. But it's just, it's so dope that you were able to see that and to be that person who connects the dots, because you actually even reached out to him, told him about the podcast, so it was easy for me to hit him up to make that happen. And that's something that's really special, and you shouldn't lose that. You should focus on that. Now, on the other side of things, you need to realize what you bring to the table. No matter how big the channel is right now, no matter any of that stuff, the production that you have is enough to be up there with the big dogs. You know, I was just watching the Smoking Tire, right? Do you watch the Smoking Tire? So I was watching a review that they did on the M8, and this channel is huge. I think it's close to like 1 million subs on it. Yeah. Something like that. But what he did, the footage that he got, what they were talking about, the way that he promoted the sponsor wasn't anything special. And that's not a dig at him at all. It's just, it is what it is. You put some GoPros up there, you talk about the car, and then you say, hey, check out this this watch brand, 10% off, right? I think that you personally can do that way better. Not just reviewing cars or anything like that, but what you're doing with your news show about the Honda community is so huge, man. And I was DMing you, it was like last week, about the sponsorship. You know, this show should be sponsored by somebody. You know, the Honda community, especially if you're a YouTuber in the Honda community, you need to be focused on this show. And these guys that you have on the show, you're doing them a favor, because no matter if their channel is 5 times bigger than yours, you're still bringing something to the table, and you're bringing eyes to their channel when you don't have to do that. So when it comes time, say you make some shirts, some stickers, send them out to all these guys. Hey, I've mentioned you on my channel 15 times in a row. Shoot me some love. You know, it's only deserving, dude. It's only deserving. You do that, and then it starts getting a buzz around the community. It starts growing. The buzz, it just keeps growing. And then these companies that you sponsor with, you tell them, okay, regular sponsor would be this much, but I'm going to take a little less, but I need you to help me promote the channel. And then you just focus on that, focus on building the channel up, and it'll get there, dude. It'll definitely get there, because are you familiar with Academics? DJ Academics?
I've been referred to DJ Academics since the start. Because obviously the hip hop scene is really, really big. And a lot of people have jumped into my channel and been like, this is fucking crazy. It's like DJ Academics for cars.
Yep.
And there are other channels that do what I do on a bigger scale. And the production isn't the same, but they're also very drama driven.
Yeah.
And they're going with like bigger channels, right? Like they'll talk about Cletus, Stradman, Shmee, like the inner drama for those guys. And I'm like, that's cool. But again, I'm like a Honda guy. So like, I like to keep it small. And I've also just really liked the fact too, that like, I don't care too much about numbers. Like I'm at like almost 9K, almost at 10K. And it's awesome that I don't deal with hate.
Yeah.
Every now and then. The biggest hate I get is because, like, you know, I'm fucking blind, so my glasses are hella thick. So there's always somebody like, all I can see is his glasses. And I'm like, cool story, bro. Been hearing that since I was 5. You're going to need to dig deeper to get to me. It's just what it is. But it's very organic. And I love the fact that, like, even at 8K, it's just grown. And, like, the 2 or 3 guys that'll come in that are new or that'll sub are, like, super into it, you know? And, like, they're like, all right, cool. I'm building my little world. I'd love to grow it. I'd love to be bigger. I'm really excited that I'm small still, which is also weird to say. But I hear what you're saying, and that's where I've been trying to, like, figure out some sort of plan as far as, like, sponsorships. And I'm not, how do I say this? Like, I'm not exactly looking for them, and I'm more so, like, I would love to have one that very vibe with me, you know? And I've had a couple before where they're, you know, I'm just like, hey, I'll shout you out. And, you know, I've gotten some parts or something like that, you know, to help the build or some little things like that. And it's funny that, like, I guess other people give less but
Yeah.
expect more.
Yeah.
So I got something little, but I talked for 3 minutes just about who they are, their product, and what they're doing. And then I get hit up like, hey, that was more than necessary, dude. Like you could have just said X, Y, and Z. I'm like, well, that's not me, dude.
Yeah.
Like you gave me something.
Yeah.
All I have is this. So I'm gonna give you all of what I have in my little like sphere, and that's what I'm doing. But like you said, like eventually it's just kind of like, oh, okay, hey, I am bringing something to the table. I do have actually something to offer here. So like there's got to be some sort of maybe rules and confines, but that's also like all part of learning and just understanding either your worth or what other people expect. And that's even also a really weird conversation. Like, hey, bro, what'd you get from them? Oh yeah, what'd you give them? You know, and it's just like it's kind of like asking somebody what they make a year or something like that. It's like, how do you get into that conversation? You know, and it's just
if you ever want to talk about this off air, let me know. I can give you some ideas to do. But you know what I was even just thinking about? Even if you had like on CNN the little ticker tape on the bottom where it's just going past, and you know every once in a while the sponsor's name will pass by. Make sure you guys follow this episode's brought to you by so and so, and just passes by.
Yeah. This could be you.
Exactly.
You know?
Start that the next episode. This could be you, and then your email address. Easy as that. You know.
Yeah.
You have to have the idea in your mind of what you want Honda Vlogs to be in the future, and you need to start living in that life already. And everybody is playing catch up. That's how I'm treating this podcast. I'm treating this podcast is my ideal goal is to be, you know, like a Rogan. Because everybody in podcasting, that's like your God is Rogan. And whether I have the subs to back it up, the numbers to back it up, the viewers to back it up, I don't give a shit about any of that, dude. That's my goal. I'm going there. I know what I have to do to go there, and hopefully you guys are along with the journey. But if not, I'll see you there in the end.
Yeah, I'm still gonna be here.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm still gonna be doing my thing. Yeah.
So what is your big idea for Honda Vlogs? Right now, 100%, you could have it exactly how you want. What would you want it to be?
Honestly, the recap is probably the smallest portion. I really enjoy watching and doing what I see other people are doing, and that is being themselves, building their own cars, having fun. Me and my buddy DJ, we joked about we were doing all this before. This is very hipster to say, but we were doing all this well before Instagram or YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's because we were just kids.
Yeah.
And we're like, how can we mod our car? And I was thinking about this earlier. Like, I don't know if you remember. Do you remember a brand called like APC? It was like American Parts Company.
Yeah, it was from like Pet Boys and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, dude. And like, I remember being in like auto class at like an auto class at like a community college. This guy bought an Integra and he's like, oh, we're going to lower my car. And we're like, what? You lower your car? How? Yeah. And he's like, oh, look at this. And, you know, it's a fucking box that's like, you know, it's got four springs and some sleeves. Where'd you get this? Oh, Kragen. You know, remember Kragen?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Kragen's got an import aisle. And I have this APC intake and these springs. And I'm just like, what? And like, that's where I remember, you know, and like, that's where I always enjoyed like doing stuff. And like, if I had the ability to make a video every day, I would. Mm-hmm. I wholeheartedly would. I really enjoy it. The editing aspect, and it's my way of not being an introvert. It's my way of like being able to be like, hey, I'm cool. In a weird, that sounded weird, but like, my personality can actually come out, and I can do that through an audience. And like, the name Honda Vlogs, to be honest with you, like I don't know how long it can last. Like, I like the name, but I'll be straight with you. Like, I'm worried about the name.
Yes, like definitely. As you should be.
I'm absolutely worried about I'm really worried about my name. And as I grow, and how's that going to work out? You know, like you see people selling merch, and it's like, well, I'm not trying to sell the word, you know.
Yeah, I think so, that like, now you mentioning that this should be something that you should focus on and figure out how you're going to be able to move away from it and probably start implementing the changes soon. because they're ruthless with it. Definitely.
Yes. Yeah, I'm well aware, and it was cool to start, but then, to be honest, my channel was just Christian Perez, and I don't know if you know that, but it's the most generic name in the world, especially if you're Hispanic. So, as I was growing my channel, I would look on Social Blade, and I could not beat Christian Perez, this barber, who had like no subs really, but like if I typed my name, you found this kid in Mexico, a barber in like New York, and I'm just like, this isn't gonna long term. But it could long term because that's my name. So if you're big enough and you're just Christian Perez, then you're TJ Hunt or you're Tanner Fox. And that's just like, but arguably enough, those names are like fucking legitimate names if you want to be like in that scene, you know, they hit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's definitely been a thing I've always thought about. But slightly getting back to your question, like my channel, I would want to be more of my hobbies, more of me, and keep the recap because I really love doing that and I love the community. But if I had the ability to work on my car and upload a video every day, I've got so much stuff that I don't have time. I get told constantly by people like, oh, pick one car. And I'm like, I have a garage full of parts that I've collected since I was probably like 22 that I'm like, oh, this is for this, this is for this, this is for this. And I have never not had a job in my life. At 15, I learned you could only get a worker's permit at 15 and a half or some stupid shit like that. And when I hit that number, I called my mom and I said, I need you to pick me up from school. She goes, oh, honey, what are you, in trouble? I'm like, no. I need you to go into the office and you need to sign some worker's permit. And I have this memory of going into the office and being like, I need a worker's permit. And my mom signed it. And then I had her take me to the fairgrounds, the Alameda County Fairgrounds. And I just walked to the gate. It was like a week and a half before the fairgrounds opened for the summer. And they're like, do you have business inside? I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to find a job. And they're like, get in there, kid. I'm like, all right. And so like my first job was like ices at a fairgrounds, or I owned my own fucking frozen cone where I was like dipping ice cream, you know, and from then till now, I'm 34 years old. I've maybe not worked like a cumulative 2 years in my life being on like unemployment from being laid off or something like that. So like my fear is never not having a job. So because of that, I will collect parts for a future dream, but also forever never have time in some sense. So I have to learn how to make that time.
This is
it's a conundrum. Yeah.
This is a conversation that needs to happen, and people need to hear this conversation, guys. I've been in the same spot that you've been in. I used to have the most unhealthy obsession with money. Have as much as possible, as much as I can, work as much as I can, make as much as I want. Not really.
But I also spend it all too.
Yeah.
I want to live, but you need to like work to live, but then you try to save, but then you're like, oh, I want that, and you're back to getting close to zero, and you're like, oh, back to grinding.
But so much of it is a mentality, you know? The way I look at work, careers, having a job now is only to make money so you can have freedom to do what you want to do. That's the way I look at it right now. I could have $100 million in the bank account right now. I'd be like, okay, well, now I could just do whatever the hell I want to do because now I'm not worrying about having to pay for my bills. You know, so you have to give yourself that sort of buffer zone to be able to have that money saved in the bank. But once you reach that level, then you start focusing on the things that you need to focus on. You know, you're getting up there in age with me, you know, 35. In your mid 30s, this should be the time that you're doing stuff for you, things that you want to do, and don't fall to the pressures of society or of family members or people like that don't have the abilities that you have. You have a unique set of abilities that you're able to not only talk in front of camera to make something interesting, but to facilitate it all. There's not a team behind you. You're doing it all yourself.
It's just me.
And that's so much value, but you don't see that as value because you're not making money from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the wrong way to look at it. And if you keep
that might be
looking
the
at
thing,
it that way, you're going to stay in the same exact spot. And it took so much of me to have to change that around and to say, like, you know what? I'm fucking grinding all this time every day for what? Like, I'm not even buying shit that I want, and I'll buy stuff for my car, but now I can't even install it. Like, I have so many parts for my cars to install to make them wild builds, dude, and I have no time to do it. And this is the part that I hate about being in business, because when business is busy, business is taking up so much of your time, you have to be there. But when business slows down, I don't get bummed out about like, shit, now we don't have money coming in. I'm just like, okay, now I have time to do more fun stuff. And that's one of the reasons that I even justify doing the podcast, because we just started making sponsorship money from it, on the 150th episode or whatever it was. But it's like, this is my escape. This is actually what I really want to do. I want to have these conversations. I love being in front of the camera and just like making content. I love making content. And that's way more than what making money would bring me, you know?
Yeah. And like on a sidestep to that, two things, I guess. When I took that break, part of the anxiety was, hey, Christian talks about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, my car just sat. And it was also like, hey, I need to prove to myself, not to them, but like to myself, like, I could do this. I've been doing this. I just don't have time. And I started feeling like, hey, I'm just talking week on week on week. This guy did this. This guy did this. This guy did this. And my car is just like a dumpster of parts. And like, does Christian even know how to do anything? And that's my inner monologue, you know? And so there was dealing with that. And then on the other point, at 18, I left the house. Mm-hmm. Like, I had money. I got my job. I moved out with friends. Came back, got another job, moved out. Even my mom, typical Mexican mom. My room looks like how I left it when I was 18. Drum set still there. Pictures of stuff still on the wall. My dad now has a TV. It's kind of like his little man cave. Like he'll go away, has a couch and TV. But I go there. It looks like Christian, 18-year-old, left the house.
Yeah.
Christian, whenever you're ready, come back. Christian, whenever you're ready, come back. And I saw all of my family, all of my older cousins. They left the house. They came and lived with grandma. My mom and my grandma, we all moved into the same house, one giant house on the ranch.
Gotcha.
But like, I saw them come back, and then I saw them leave, and I came back, and I always told myself, like, mom and dad's house isn't a safety net.
Yeah,
it's a last resort. And so that has been the other drive of like, hey, I gotta sustain. I don't want to go back to mom and dad's, and that's always been my like, that's last resort. So Christian's got to be on point. Whether you're scraping check to check or whatever, like, all right, cool. I have a roof over my head. I have money coming in, and I can still buy myself this here and there, you know? And that's been this past year. Like you said, we're getting older, and that's been my thing of like, okay, I need to make a change of like, how do I put myself first and my resources? Like you said, like, how do I make this a thing? Because like, if I'm just going to keep doing things for others and not making anything off of it, not to make it about monetary stuff, but like that needs to change, because ultimately that's how you become self-sufficient, is stop taking a paycheck and start making a paycheck.
Yeah.
And that transition is probably the hardest thing anyone has to do, because it's like, well, it's all you now, bro.
Well,
better make this work. Let
me ask you a couple questions. Do you know how to wrench?
Yeah.
Most of these channels that you follow, more of like the singular guys, less the group guys. Do you feel like you can wrench along with them?
Yeah, like if I was with them, we'd get stuff done.
Okay, so all of these channels are doing their YouTube. More than likely, they're doing it like full time, right?
Full apart. But still,
and you would be able to produce a show equal or superior to most of these channels because of your knowledge with technology and with cameras, 4K and all that editing and green screen and creativity and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it can take maybe 1 year of your life 1 year where you say, today I'm not working for anybody else. I'm going to grind it. If I have to eat cup of noodle, if I have to live in a 1-bedroom apartment, I need to make this shit happen to get to this point, because I'm talking about all of these dudes that are living their dreams when I have the same exact tools and more to do exactly what they're doing. And, you know, I'm not comparing anybody, but surpass them, because you understand things on another level, production wise, clarity, things like that. You want it to seem like an actual show. If you were to do that, you wouldn't even have to buy car parts, because you would get the parts for free in exchange for, you know, sponsoring your builds or what have you. It would probably take 1 year for you to make that happen, for you to start this new journey in your life. And it is scary, but you have the tools to do it.
Yeah, I've thought about it. And I was even talking to my girlfriend, Allison, like not that long ago, where I'm at like almost 9K and I've consistently uploaded once a week. Mm-hmm. And that's the show brings the value for sure. But if I could do more, obviously it would order of magnitude increase.
Definitely.
You know, like, so like I've thought about it a lot, and it is, like I said, like from everything I just said, like that's the scary part, is just kind of like, all right, at some point you're going to have to either do something for yourself or perpetually just like, all right, then you've created your life and you're just going to be there. And the older I get, the getting a paycheck or working for somebody is really starting to become like, oh, I'm just going to be stuck that way.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. You have to bet on yourself, dude. You have to bet on yourself, because that's a great bet. And two, with everything that happened with Corona right now, just think about how many people who thought that they were secure, they had great careers, they had great businesses, and it's all gone now.
Yeah.
That can happen to any of us. That can happen to us later this year. But that doesn't even scare me, because I know that we're going to make it out no matter what it is, that we're going to make it out. And you have to have that mentality. And when you have that mentality, the carrot of having a steady job and career, that shit doesn't mean anything anymore, dude.
Yeah. I have a saying. Yeah, I have a saying that totally sounds cocky, but I'm not cocky in any way. But if you are in my inner circle, we don't fail. You won't go down.
Yeah.
I have some really close friends. We've rode the highest of highs. We've made the most money we've ever made, and we've been at the lowest of lows. But like me in my life and the people that I'm willing to keep in that close circle, it's like, hey, we will never fail.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's a mindset, it's a something, but it's like, I think we all kind of know if you're at your worst, I will have your back, even if I go negative. And it's there as well. Yeah. But like collectively, like, no. We're not going down.
Yeah.
And so it's cool. And having that mindset of just kind of like, I get it's hard, but also like this whole Corona thing, you know, and my girlfriend's just like, dude, like, I hope my job is good. And I hope we're going to come out of this. And I literally look her in the face and I'm like, hey, what have I said? Like, we're never failing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to happen. Well, how do you feel that way?
Just
don't know.
If you look at the numbers, right? Yeah. There's how many billion, 7 billion people, 8 billion people in the world, right? Just break it down to the US, 250 million or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
The interactions that I've had with people in the last 10 years, in my adult life, you know, I judge every single one of them and try to see like, okay, where would I fall if I was in their shoes? How would I be? And I always, like you say, not being cocky, but I feel like I am in the higher category because of the way that I think about things, the way that I move, the way that I see value in certain other things. You know, I see things that other people don't see. And I know that you see the same too, because you're able to make those connections. A lot of people can't do that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So if you're that kind of unique person, you need to bet on yourself rather than you're helping out some company or what have you, you know, because at the end of the day, they don't give a shit, dude. I'm not saying about your job, but I'm saying on my side, when I was working, if it meant that they were able to save X amount of money, my position would have been gone. And then I'm gone. And then what do I say? Oh, well, what about me? Oh, sorry, man. We'll give you unemployment. Now I'm back to square one. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
Hell
That's why
no,
I half joke about people right now who are like, because everybody knows, like right now, if you're like unemployment, you're probably making, pretty decent amount of money. That's just kind of facts right now. And I think you posted a meme or you posted something, and then I saw it again where it's like, hey, if you don't come out of this quarantine with a side hustle or a different personality, or if your car is still on jack stands, then we know what the problem is. And that hit home because I was just like, there's a lot of us out there that are fighting to have 3 months off paid.
Yeah.
And if something terrible happened to you and that's why you're there, like, for sure, my condolences and all that. But at the same time, like, dude, that is a good time to just be like, all right, hustle.
Hell yeah.
Make something for myself right now. Whatever it is. It could be nothing. It might not even be monetary. It could literally be get your car on the ground. But it's like, if you've ever said, oh, I've never had time. Oh, man, you've got some time right now. And all you really do need to do is just one thing at a time. Like Dana always says, like, progress is better than no progress. Mm-hmm. And when I follow that mantra, it's so true. Like, oh, okay, I'm going to put in 20 minutes. And in 20 minutes, you're like, you feel good inside in your brain, like some dopamine hits. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. One positive, next positive, next positive. And when you can build on that, it'll definitely help in the long run. So that's what's kind of been like a motivating factor right now is just kind of like, I need to just keep my head down and just keep grinding away at what I do have.
Yeah. I think of life as a journey, and to get further down the journey, you just got to keep moving. And those times that you stop moving, that you're not doing anything, you're wasting time from getting further in the journey, which is where, there's everything that you've wanted down that row. The way that I think about things and the way that I talk about things is because I've been there. I've been through those experiences. I've worked at those jobs where, the alarm gets up and that anxiety just hits right when your alarm gets, and you're just like, shit, dude, I gotta be at my work in 20 minutes. You brush your teeth, you're jumping in the car and shit like that. For what?
Yeah. Or you feel like at 100% happiness until you're 4 minutes away from that exit.
Exactly.
And you're like, you're in your head, cup of coffee, listening to your jams, driving your car. Hell yeah, I got this going on. Yeah, hell yeah. And then you see it like your exit 2.5 miles, and suddenly it's just like, you're just like, oh shit, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, reality's. Oh my god, I don't even want to be. And then that's your day, bro.
Yeah.
You just dropped your life down, and then now you're off to work. So you show up to work pissed off, and now it's like, well, that's the end of your day,
dude. For what? I've been at that spot before. I've been in where I worked at a shop, which is so crazy because it's like 1 block away from Downstar right here, where I would get in at 7 a.m. and there would be it was Corian countertops, so kind of looks like granite, but it's like cheaper granite, and they would come off as rough, and I would have to sand it and polish it out until it's ready to go get installed on somebody's countertop. And I look around, and there's like 40-year-old dudes there, 50-year-old dudes, and they're doing the same exact job that I am. And I'm just like, damn, dude, this isn't what I want my life to be like.
Yeah.
And then when I started Downstar, it wasn't even that I wanted it to become a company or anything like that. It was just, I'm a hustler. So it was just a side hustle.
Yeah.
And then soon enough, the side hustle, as much more attention that I put into it, it grew and grew and grew. And 10 years later, like I'm living the life that I've always wanted to live. My wife doesn't ever have to work anymore. And that's because I've come from the bottom. I've seen places that I never, ever, ever want to go back to,
Yeah.
And just bet on myself and grew and, created the life that you want to live. The life that you want, you can create that. You can do whatever you want to do to make that life happen. But the only thing is, it's going to take a lot of hard work and dedication, and it's going to be a scary road. But what's more scary than getting off on that exit and that happiness just being sucked away from you? And you're not going to feel that happiness again until 6 o'clock at night when you finally get home, open the door and you're just like, exhale.
Yeah.
You're able to
Yeah.
exhale because you just gave away, 8 to 10 hours of your life to
Yep.
somewhere that's not making you happy at all, dude.
Yep.
I think that you have a lot of talent inside of you. And I'm not telling you to go quit your job, but I'm saying
No,
that
I hear you. I hear
you
you.
can definitely create something. And just think, if you had 7 days of freedom to do whatever you wanted, you can do the recap. You can do a couple episodes of your vlog, and then you can start a podcast too. You can do all of that stuff. And then once you do that, then you realize, like, damn, I could squeeze a little more into my life. And then you do something else, and then just keep growing and growing and growing from there.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
there's no day like the present, man. Especially, I know there's probably going to be a lot of younger people listening right now. Like, this is the time that you need to take advantage of your life, and don't listen to anybody else. You just listen to yourself, and just know that it's going to take that hard work.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of people coming up right now, and I give them props, and that's what I'm trying to do. Like, right now, like, the world's locked down or whatever, right? But, like, this is where I'm taking the opportunity to be like, all right, well, everybody's locked down and I'm not, and I don't want to fall into that mindset of, like, okay, obviously I have, like, a job and I got to go do things and I have responsibilities, but, like, I see some cool people buying homes right now, and it's like hit or miss, probably the worst time to buy a home.
Yeah.
But it's also that gamble, like, hey, all right, if this falls, if this aligns and I get it, hit that grind button. Like, I got this now at, like, the worst time. But when everything goes back to normal, because, like, inevitably, most likely, fingers crossed, we go back to normal in whatever time, you did something huge when everybody was too scared to. And so that means that you picked up the pieces, you put your life together, and you're like, all right, it's time to progress right now, like, move on to a different wavelength. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm basically seeing right now, is just like, it's the time, as I watch everybody lay low and try to, like, reassess their situation. My mind shifted on, like, oh, okay, I think this means I have to change direction. I have to go the other way, which is, like, I need to take advantage of your absence.
Yeah.
And carve a path for myself.
Yeah.
In some way. Yeah.
And I think you should, man. You have something special, bro. And you have a great personality. That. And I think a lot of more people need to know about your channel and what you're doing, and just you as a person. You bring a lot of positivity to the community, and you bring something that nobody else is taking the initiative to do it. So you don't have to ask permission for anybody, dude. Whatever you want this to look like in the future, just hammer down towards that. And then
that's awesome. Yeah.
You reach out to people that you think would help you out in your journey as far as for advice or anything like that, and you just go full force, dude. Because I think if you bet on yourself, man, you'll definitely do great for sure.
Yeah, I have a really good friend, Brad. He's, like, in Nebraska, which is so weird because it's like I've never really met him, but we've been talking so much. And he runs Old Souls. It's just like a giant, like, Old Souls community or Del Sol community.
Gotcha.
I just used to be, like, super into Del Souls, and I still am. But he's a really awesome graphic designer, and he's like, hey, you should really use your skills, dude. Like, you have abilities. So he kind of pushed me. I started like, making websites and stuff, and I made one. It's called Pixel Widget.io, and it's basically my way of slowly trying to roll in like, hey, do you want to animate your graphics? Do you want to make a graphic? Mm-hmm. Like, kind of like a digital business, I guess, in some sense, of just kind of like all these people who want, like, YouTube graphics and stuff like that, to try to possibly monetize on, like, my skills, but build like a fallback plan or something. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you have this logo, you want to make it glitch, I got you.
Yeah.
Like that kind of, like, social media / like graphic design business or something that, like, I started to kick up. And, like, yeah, I made all these random things that, like, nobody knows about. Like, it's down now. It used to be up. It's called Streamy, and it was basically Spotify video for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could listen to music, but then YouTube would play the video, so you could sit there and listen to music, but also watch the video. So it's interesting now that, like, Spotify, like, obviously they got like $100 million deal with Rogan, and then they're going to start doing video on Spotify. And I'm like, yeah, there was something there, like, because Spotify or YouTube Music is a thing, but this was kind of cool because it's kind of like all things YouTube, but it's just music and videos. And I had that, like I built that and it was just running for a while, and now it's down. But I don't know. I got like crazy ideas, and they're all very like nerdy and techie and stuff. So there's definitely, like, from what you said, and I appreciate like the advice and stuff of like, there's definite things that I need to start like double downing on myself. Like, hey, this could be something, just do it, instead of just like, I'm not sure, I'm gonna go do something else.
Well, just think about it. If you're in the tech field, right? More than likely, most people in the tech field, they want to use that knowledge so they can, work at a huge company like Apple or something like that. Make a lot of money, make a career, and live that sort of lifestyle. But if you're able to take that knowledge and bring it to something that's so niche as the Honda community, the YouTube Honda community, dude, you'll be able to blow people's minds when in other spaces you would just fall into all the other guys from Silicon Valley. Okay, this is what we're doing. Now I work at Facebook or Instagram or whatever. I'm in charge of, finding the Russian bots, things like that.
Yeah.
But you can use your skills for the Honda community, and it's going to fucking blow everybody's mind. And then now people are going to start looking at the Honda community like, wow, I thought it was just a bunch of dumb Ricer kids, but they actually have so much cool things that this is maybe a community that I want to be in.
Yeah. I did all like, I worked in tech for a really long time as like a product manager and producer for like video games. Like I was in the gaming world for a really long time. So like, that's how the recap comes along so well and seamlessly, because I know like, okay, I need art, and in order to have art, I need this, and then I need text, and then I need content, and then you know what I mean? So like I have that flow, and so that's what easily made that all work out. And then even the way that I do the show really early on, if you watched the recap, the images were on the right. Mm-hmm. Like I was on the left and the images on the right. And in most TV, the right side is the host, because the host is your eye, your where your eyes lead, because you read left to right. So when you're watching nighttime television, the guest is over here, but you're gonna look the other way because the host is on the spotlight. The guest is just there, and I flipped that. I didn't want that.
Yeah.
So I'm on the left, you're on the right, because that's the focus. Mm-hmm. And so at some point, people are like, "Oh, well, technically the other way," and I'm like, yeah, but I instinctually went the other way.
Yeah.
And I kind of ran that way because I was just kind of like, well, I'm just facilitating. You're the star.
Yeah.
So that was the mindset for that. And then actually Honda Pro Jason was like, hey, dude, you should just try full screen until you get bigger, because technically most people know those people. So as far as driving views, if you go full screen and commentary on top, people's eyes will stay glued to people that they know, and then slowly transition back to like, oh, that's you. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I'm the one talking for 30 minutes. So now it's my show. And so I took that advice and I ran with it. And it actually did really well, because I think a lot of people are stuck watching content. And even though they're not talking and they're just listening to like commentary, I can go pretty deep in on the commentary and on their life. Like, cool, they just got an intake, but I'll tell you for 5 minutes how they even got that car.
Yeah.
So how that even became a thing. So that kind of helped grow the channel a lot too. But basically taking all the stuff that I did in tech and gaming and making sure that we could go to launch is what made the recap and the quality of just the show and the format work out, because I had a a game plan, I guess.
Very cool, dude. So in the YouTube space, not only just automotive, not just Honda, but all over, who are some of your influences?
Peter McKinnon, for sure. He does a lot of graphic design, a lot of videos, and most of his videos, he used to have like 2-minute Tuesdays, and then 2-minute Tuesdays turned into like 30-minute Tuesdays, because he's like, I'm going to show you how to mask transition, or I'm going to show you how to use this LUT or put this LUT on your phone. And LUT, I mean like color grade. It's a lookup table. So like how to color grade your stuff. And so I use like, that's where I get the like, what's cracking, guys, because like at the beginning of his videos, he got your attention, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Got you.
And then that's what I mentioned earlier. John Hicks was a big influence as far as vlogging, because he actually, I think, has like a history as far as like video editing. So when you watch any of his videos, they flow so well with his transitions. And I really love the fact that like he'd do it like Alfredo. He'd have like the body cam, and then John Hicks's special thing was he would either have his like A7R2 as his main camera or his body camera GoPro. And when he'd switch between the two, he'd take the camera, hit his chest, and that would be the transition to I switch to cameras. Or you're riding, and so like, you know, you're watching someone ride their bike 4 blocks, nothing's going to happen. So at some point he knows I have to get from here to there. It's going to be really boring. He would do a bar spin.
Gotcha.
And so when he wanted to get people's attention again, he'd do another bar spin, and then he clipped the bar spins together. And now every 15 seconds there was a bar spin. So every 15 seconds you had something on the screen that got your attention, and it and then his whole video just kept going. And so that taught me like, oh, this is a movie.
Yeah.
I need to keep your attention. So that's what kind of grew there as far as like how you make content that's engaging the entire time, is you just got to keep stuff moving. And that's why like you'll see people make transitions and they'll put like an X in the corner or something will pop on the screen because you're like, huh? Oh, I'm back. Oh, I'm back. You know, and it keeps your brain from drifting off. But those were like some of the big dudes that I was watching really early on. And then I think most people should do this, but it's what I did is I stopped watching them. Kind of like Gary Vee. You watch Gary Vee, right?
Yeah, I actually just unfollowed Gary Vee.
Yeah, okay, so perfect example. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Gary Vee, his thing was, I'm here if you need me, but you shouldn't be watching me.
Yeah.
Because if you're watching me, you're being lazy. You're not supposed to sit here and consume my content. You're supposed to come here, see what I'm doing, and then go do it for yourself. So I stopped watching bigger channels so that I didn't imitate or start following their path, and started taking elements and then creating myself.
Got you.
Yeah.
Do you watch Adam 22?
Very early on, and then every now and then I would, if I know somebody who's on No Jumper, I'll watch it. But I stopped watching Adam's like vlogs like a while ago.
Got you. He's actually into a really crazy transition right now. Seems like something happened maybe 6 months or so ago where he just, I guess the content wasn't going the way that he wanted it to go. So he's going through like kind of a rebranding, which is pretty interesting to watch because every week he's implementing something new, maybe something on his story. Maybe they're adding more people to the staff. He seems like he's going a little more in the academics kind of way. And then they have like their podcast show, but he's one person that I like to follow, and I just watch kind of the way that they move, the way that they're able to navigate through like the YouTube space. And then, you know, somebody like Logan Paul as well, you know, one of the OGs in this community. And now he's been able to, now he's doing the podcast, and the podcast is killer, bro. It's so awesome to see all of these different people, non-automotive people, and then just take that info and be like, okay, well, let me see how I can make that fit into the automotive community, you know? And then I mentioned earlier about, you doing the podcast. Were you gonna do one, or are you doing one now, or was that an idea?
It's definitely an idea and totally doable. I have a funny idea that I wanted to try, but like it would take moving around, which is hard.
Yeah.
I've kind of always wanted to do a podcast. You know, I've done one with friends, and I have a lot of, from a lack of a better term, like connections.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So like, it would not be hard. But again, I got to fight this. Will the channel turn into like the recap and podcast, or where I need to like, I think before I could do that, I need to first learn how to involve myself, because this is like my baby, my project. So if I'm not vlogging, then I guess it's still content, and I need to like break out of that mindset that like a podcast with somebody is still content.
Yeah.
And the recap is still content. And if I can throw vlogs in there, then that's it. But I think I admire the people that just do that.
Yeah.
So much that I'm like, I am low key envious that your content is based on your love and building and modifying and tweaking your car constantly. So there is that. But yeah, I've always wanted to do a podcast, and I should definitely just kind of get on that or get the ball rolling in some way.
Yeah, I think that would be cool, especially how you do like the recap. Maybe you could have the screen of the other person, and you could come up with something like super creative to have that done, you know, and that would be awesome because I would love to see more podcasts in our space.
Yeah,
that would be.
that's the
And
other
then
thing too.
you think about it as far as content, like that's already 3 pieces of content right there. You got the recap, the podcast, and then a vlog from doing the channel, and all of them can feed each other.
Yeah, and you could be there for one, you could not like the other, you know, because like some people will follow and they just like that, like the smoking tire. A lot of people watch the reviews, and now there's just the podcast. So I'm pretty sure some people don't really care about the in-car stuff.
Yeah,
and or one take rather. Yeah. Okay, same thing. So you're gonna watch one take, and I think one take was the car reviews, and then the smoking tire is the podcast.
Got you. Okay.
So I think I have that right. But yeah, you're gonna stick around for one of those things, you know, like, oh, I like the podcast, I don't really care for the content, but I like his guests.
Yeah.
So I follow for that.
And then if there's a host that you like their personality, you're probably gonna want to check everything that they do. You know,
what is this person about?
Exactly.
What are they up to? Oh, okay.
So it just I've been told before that your YouTube channel should be specific for one thing so you can grow the community with that one thing. But the way that I think about it is the way that I think about like my other social medias, that this is my space, this is my community. You're going to see everything that has to do with me, my space, my community. And that's the reason that we have different playlists. You know? So if you're just here for the podcast, cool, go to the podcast playlist. Watch all that. If you want to be here for vlogs, cool, that's here. But I can't let anybody else dictate because of the way the algorithm works, or, you know, you're going to lose retention or anything like that. That comes secondary to what I want to build. I want to build my own community. You know, and sooner or later, your community is going to grow organically, and you're going to build it how you want it to.
Yeah, exactly. You know, totally.
When I first started out, and I don't know if you've seen the picture of where it looks like we're in a drug scene and there's bolts everywhere.
Yeah.
So many people were telling me, like, you know, that's not really professional. You're not going to get brand deals if you do this kind of stuff. No other brands are going to want to work with you because it's like too edgy and all of that stuff. I was just like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is my personality. This is my vision. This is my creativity. So if somebody sees that and they're like, I don't like that, you don't have to like it. It's cool. This is me.
And to your point, their demographic isn't your demographic.
Exactly.
That image and the funniness that the kids recreated it is our demographic and our personality. Like, this motherfucker did that. That's hilarious. But like, sure, you know, to an older audience or a different appeal, like they're probably like, that's not what we're into. And it's like, I know. It's what we're into, dude. That's why I did this photo. Like, we find it funny. So yeah.
And totally. When you build your community around your likes and your desires and the things that you like to do, like, you're just gonna have people that want to be around you because they feel the same way, and it's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah. You know? So that's kind of like that's why I really enjoy having the fan base that I do and the people that contribute that they do, because I'm just kind of like, cool. If you're here and you're still here right now, then cool, you're just like an OG and you really just like how small it is too. And so do I in some way, in some aspects. Yeah.
You know what's funny is today was a perfect example of it. People who've been following the podcast for a long time, they know my cousin Prep because he's been on the podcast so many times, you know? So we recently started uploading to YouTube every single day of a drop, probably maybe like 50 episodes back or so, right? So the people on YouTube that are watching this right now, they're just starting to get on the schedule. So the numbers are growing and growing and growing. Now today, when the podcast dropped with my cousin, probably people seen it and they're like, I don't even know who that is. I don't even know if it's a car guy or what. I'm not going to watch it. So the numbers were really low today when I woke up for the YouTube channel. But then I go to SoundCloud, which is our day one, and it's already like way more than I expected. So
interesting. Okay.
It's like your community the SoundCloud community is already growing more because we've been around there longer, and then they see prep pop up and it's probably like a breath of fresh air. They're like, hell yeah, dude, I love when it's this kind of content.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just, I'm not upset that the YouTube channels aren't big. I'm just letting the guys in YouTube know, like, you're new to the show. The show is going to keep growing, and then you're going to understand how we move, the way that we talk, the kind of guests that I like to get, the kind of conversations that I like to have, and then then it's going to make more sense. But then I could have looked at it the different way. Okay, who has a lot of followers? Who can I get on? Whose audience can I be a part of? Even if I don't really want to have a conversation with them, just to be like a slave to the numbers. Like, nah, it's all good.
Yeah,
you guys will know later. It's This is our community, and you'll know if you want to be part of this community or not.
Yeah. Is Prep? I might have people mixed up, but your cousin, is he the fisher?
Yeah.
Does he do the fishing?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll send you a profile after this. It's this guy I met through YouTube. He came out of nowhere, started building a B20 VTEC. He actually started he hit me up and he goes, man, I would really love to thank all of the like big YouTuber guys for like, liking my videos. And I was just like, dude, awesome. He goes, I think I'm going to start like a group chat with them. And it was like a Hail Mary, like threw in all of us. And he's just like, hey, I wanted to thank all you guys. He's now MIA, but that group chat lives on.
Nice.
Where we all talk every day, and it's all Honda guys and we're all joking. But the point of this is I forget where he lives, but he's really into fishing.
Oh, cool.
And so he changed his channel to a fishing channel. And I think your cousin could do really well because literally, I don't know. I mean, I like fishing. I grew up fishing, on the ranch and stuff, but body camera, standing up on a boat, and it's ultra wide, cast, talking, boom, catches a fish, and then like puts the fish in front of the camera, and it's like, cool, release. And I watch him catch like 6 fish in a day. And like, I went down this just rabbit hole because of YouTube. And this dude's just like every day, like your everyday tackle. Oh, today I'm going to go with this spinner bait and I've got this long, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what we can pull off today on the boat. And I'm just like, dude, it's just like we're talking about the Honda community, the fishing community for some reason on YouTube is just massive.
Yeah.
So it'd be really interesting because I see him take pictures and I see this fish and I'm just like, dude, you should really try that because you're already there. The only difference is wearing a GoPro on your chest and just recording the catching, But that's just one of those things where I'm just like, hey, dude, you can maximize what you're doing right there because like you're already doing it out of love and passion.
Yeah.
So here's just a way of like, here's how I do it, But I don't know. That was just a random offshoot of like that dude Alex. He's MIA now, but he created something that lived on, and then because of that, I now see that is another branch out of like how crazy YouTube is in a sense of just kind of like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Somehow they might meet each other or something,
Yeah. Now going back to the subject of, being able to work for yourself. Speaking of my cousin Prep, he has his brand, the Badfish Cartel, and he's actually doing a merch restock on it. But he says the first thing that he wants to do is have a website, so that could be something that you can offer, connect with him and say, hey, I could set you up with a website. No problem. It's going to be this much. And then if you see anybody else that they're missing something that would help them out, you be that service for them, website or what have you. And then that's income right there. And all of that adds up to what your monthly bills would be, what your paycheck would be from your regular job, instead of, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Instead of knowing that every 2 weeks you're going to be making X amount, you figure like, okay, I need to make X amount. So let me go on my hustle. Hey, what's up, man? Did you ever need help with that website? We could do it for this much. I could have it done for you this afternoon. As long as the promises that you make are fulfilled, bro. Imagine if Prep gets it done and then he's talking to somebody. He's like, yeah, this guy Christian, he made my website for me. Oh, can you hook me up with them? Boom, easy. And I'm sure to set up like such a small e-commerce like that with like 5 to 10 items is so easy for you, but for somebody else, it's foreign. So
Yeah,
you
and the
can use
time.
all, yeah, exactly. And all those
It's the
skills that
time.
you have, you could just implement those.
Yeah. So that's why like to bring it way back when I was saying like how do the automotive people get in front of the people that want to buy? It's the same way. Like if you're in the garage welding for like 14 hours a day, like the last thing on your mind is just like, oh, okay, I need a website.
Yeah.
Uh, what? And I'm like, well, yeah, people need to buy from you, dude. Like, how are they gonna buy? Oh, they can DM me. I'm like, it's not. I mean, okay, but that's not how the world is
Yeah.
evolving right now. So it's like the creative minds are so scattered. The most creative people are the most scattered. So it's really hard to hone them in. So to have an ability to like find the crazy creative people and be like, hey, dude, can I organize this for you and get that set up is a thing I've thought about and I've worked on of just kind of like cool and it keeps it all automotive and it keeps me in my own little lane if I'm still just wanting to help car people. So yeah, that's definitely something that's been on my mind.
Here's another idea too. Since there's so many YouTube channels, and one of the big things with YouTube is merch, but a lot of people don't know where to get merch from. If you're
Yeah.
able to get all of these connections, T-shirts, stickers, lanyards, things like that, you could reach out to these channels and say like, hey, dude, I offer these merch packages. If you want to do something, we could even help you out with artwork. It's this much or that much. The shirts will be X amount. You sell them, you can make this much profit, and I'm already taking care of everything on my end because I know the suppliers. I know that the guys are going to take care of it. I know that nobody's going to be dicking me around. And with like, 5 to 10, a list of 5 to 10 connects that are not that hard to find, you could be that middleman for so many people and help those people get to their next level.
Yeah, that's the young Jamie that's the young Jamie idea of like I know the holes and I know who can help you fill that hole.
Exactly.
And it's just understanding your needs and being able to just be like, hey, this guy's gonna fix this for you.
Yeah.
You two talk.
Yeah.
And then putting that all together. That's kind of where the Pixel widget came in as like a studio because like I know graphic designers, I know editors, and I know enough people to where like my project management skills and my producer skills, it was just like, the CEO's like, I need X, Y, and Z done by tomorrow. And in my head, I need to be like, oh shit, I need Frank, this guy, this guy, this guy. Hey, all four of you, let's go. Like, I need you guys to like, okay, cool. Here you go, dude. Now, how'd you pull that off? I just,
yeah,
I don't know, dude. I knew who and what team I needed to fucking take from their desk, dude. And that was just like, I trusted them and they were all like, oh, whatever. And they were good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just been like the, how do I hone all that in a positive way?
That's a huge skill, man. Christian, I'm so excited for your future, bro. I think that you have a lot to offer the community. You're a very intelligent person, and you have a lot of skills that a lot of people don't have. And those are things that you should really lean on. And you can mingle everything together, and you could build something awesome, man. Where all you're doing all day is just doing what you love.
Yeah, that's the dream. That's kind of like where this is the year I'm trying to really just get all my stuff together, and now I'm just trying to get to that pinnacle point where like, all right, dude, like you need to just like steal third, like I need to take a couple steps off the base and just be like, hey, bro, it's go, or you're just gonna wait for that guy to fucking swing. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. If you ever need any help with anything, man, just please feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I was also really happy we were able to just do a pod. That way we can just like kind of open a line of communication.
Yeah,
because hitting somebody up in the DMs every now and then and just getting advice is one thing, but like if you're not on a talking personal level, then being open with questions is kind of weird. Like, hey, I know you don't know me, but like, how would I make a business plan? Like, who the fuck? Like, I don't fucking have time to help you make a business plan, But like, if you can show in some way that like, hey, like open that line of communication so that someone can see like, oh, okay, we can both benefit from this conversation in the future, then okay, cool. Now I can like, as a friend, but also like from a business side of you, like, hey, dude, you should maybe try this. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, cool. And then you kind of like just help somebody out.
Hell yeah, man. Like I said, Christian, I'm excited to see where you go. And I'm glad the channel's back. I'm glad you're back to putting content on it. That first video that you did back was very interesting. And you could just tell that you were refreshed to be back in front of the camera. So
Yeah.
I look
I'm
forward
trying
to more of
to.
that.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to bring in new stuff. Like I talked to Honda Pro Jason and trying to bring new car stuff in because like, dude, I did past 1996. I don't know what's going on, dude, with new
Yeah.
cars, dude. Like my girlfriend just got like a 2017 sedan, and I'm in there, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is a new car, dude. I don't know how to new car. Like, what is this? And so trying to bring new segments. I'm trying to fill that time slot, dude, because I'm just like, if I'm gonna have your attention for 30 minutes, like, can I do an hour?
Yeah.
Like how long can I keep you in the seat just as a community? So that's slowly trying to bring in new segments, trying to keep it fresh so I don't get bored. And also, I love editing.
Yeah.
So if I don't have to fill an hour or I don't have to fill 45 minutes, then cool. Then I have a little team, a network. I'm like, I'll take years, boom, boom, boom. Here's this production. But like a lot of people are also like, hey man, how long does it take you guys to edit something? And I'm just like, it's just me, dude.
Keep it like that. Keep that. Use
me.
Be you guys.
Yeah.
Be the team.
Be you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's gonna get to that point one day.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah, it's really interesting and humbling that people think that like, oh, it's a group of guys doing all the filming and editing, and I'm like, oh no, dude, it's just I hit record. I have this phone with a lapel on me and a green screen in a garage, and I'm just like, go, yeah,
yeah, good shit, man.
So.
Hell yeah, bro. So before we get out of here, can you let everybody know where to find you at?
Yeah. On Instagram at Honda Vlogs. I'm always there. I need to start actually posting my builds, my stuff that I'm doing. But I'm pretty active. If you ever needed to reach out, you can send me instant message, say what's up. I'm always down to talk to people and all that. YouTube at Honda Vlogs, same thing. Air the Honda recap Monday night, 6 p.m. Used to be 8. But I moved it to 6, so that way Midwest and East Coast people can watch it at 8.
Yeah.
For a while, I was airing at 8 my time, and I still got the same amount of people, and I knew they were up at midnight, and I was just like, "Whoa, dude, that's crazy!" So yeah, and then if you guys I'll throw it out there. If you guys ever want design work or any sort of work as far as like getting stuff off the ground, Pixel Widget. .io or shoot me a message on Instagram. I'm always more than happy to help or set you guys up with a designer, or if you have a graphic and you want to like make transitions, you want anything, just let me know. Like I got a lot of random skills and I'm willing to just help your production value look better. Cause that's one of the things I wanted. I wanted everybody's production value to go up. Like, so we all build together. I think if everybody started off, no one's going to go 4K right off the bat. Right. And I tell everybody use a cell phone, but if everyone's production value started at a 6 instead of a 4, I think collectively as a Honda community, if the like Gas Monkey Garage people came over and landed on a website, the level of build, the level of video quality, and the level of how like we present the brand will open up. Like if you're going to go and you're going to watch like a Gears and Gasoline Netflix special, and then you're going to land on somebody else's video, you're going to be like, oh wow, there's a gap, So like, I really would love to help everybody that wants to get started to have like a really, really high foot when they start.
Definitely, dude. I look forward to working with you in the future, man, because I know that there's some spots that we could work together that you could help our production grow, So let's keep in touch, man. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
So, shout out to our sponsor, Heel Toe Automotive. Been around since 2002, supplying you guys with the Honda parts that you need for your builds. Trusted, man. Make sure you guys check them out at heeltoeauto.com or on Instagram at Heel Toe Automotive. Please support Christian. Great guy, man. Honda Vlogs. I love the channel. And I'm going to take one out of your book, man. If you guys are watching right now, make sure you like, subscribe. Hit the bell.
Hit the bell, man. It helps. Surprisingly enough, I ask people so much to hit that bell that in the long run, if you upload, people will be notified. And surprisingly enough, like I'm way above average as far as like people watching from that because it's like, cool, they know. So it's like all these little stupid things that you don't want to have to say. It's just the way we have to do it, guys. Like,
so hit the bell, guys, please.
Hit the bell. Yeah. No shit.
This is Downtime with Downstar episode 173, and we out. Peace.